is here.
And that all happened because Swag took the reset and bought
6 minutes and 45 seconds, and this is a 3.
For semifinals, it felt like we played a lot better than I think a lot of people expected us to.
Swag to pick up that kill. Their paint will go down to...
It's interesting that the two teams that I think have a lot of parallels are in finals together. I think we win this.
Rocky will go in, and they'll use quickness to try to get over a fight, but unfortunately, Kinnekis does get attacked. Naru will get that kill, and Rocky ball does double TP coming out into our guard Python. That's double. We
were a team that people doubted for a long time, and I would like to see us win despite that.
I think we played very well during semis. I don't think anybody had us 3-0ing Regalia. I think that should make us the favorites going into this match.
But in return, Twitch is going to go ahead and take down with the Cinder. That's going to be 2 minutes.
I don't think I've played particularly well this whole split. I want to prove that I can be the type of player that can help my team win. And I think the only way I can do that is if I win this split.
Noble is getting mighty low with that shield and sustain that we were talking about earlier, but Stoots is going to go ahead and eat it. Double kill picked up. Oh my God.
You may have won in regular season, but that was when we were still experimenting. We took off the weights, and we look a lot stronger now.
Corruption proved that they deserve to be here, and they proved that they are a good team when they're dialed in.
Unfortunately, like I said, the teleport coming in from the Cinder, and that is going to be 1.
I'm not cocky enough to say that Corruption can't beat us. I'm confident enough to say that they won't.
One more match. One last ride. The storm is here. Are you ready? The storm is here.
Alrighty, hello, all of you wonderful people. It is your boy Ride Alon here with Becky, Rita, Gaming, and we're bringing you all the action from that hype video. As you can clearly tell, we are in the Blue Otter League Gold Finals here, and we have 2 great teams. We have Revolution Eternal, and we have Big Duck Entourage, Corruption, BDE, and Becky. That was the hypeness behind that video. There's so much going on. There's a lot being said as well. You know, the last time that these 2 teams did encounter each other was in week number 6, and Eternal walked out of there completely unscathed. 2-0, and they're looking to continue that as well as the 3rd and 4th seed respectively coming into the semifinals and now making it all the way to the finals here. I mean, there's just a lot of energy. There's a lot of gumption here, and we are blowing through this draft, but I don't care because I want to hype up this game a little bit more. But man, how are you feeling about tonight's matchup between these 2 wonderful teams?
Look, as always, I'm excited to watch the power of the gold division. These players, they may not be the best, but they're the best at being themselves. And they're here to come out on the Rift to show what they bring to the table as themselves. You know, their unique picks, their unique ways of play, the mindset that they have. You know, even at, it doesn't matter if you're up in the big leagues or down here in gold. If you're a competitor, you've got that competitive mindset. And these players are here to showcase that today. And of course, they're going to showcase it with some incredible picks already here. The B1 brand, I believe, I don't know if Rev got that last week, but, or when we saw them last, but
Right.
Brand has been a huge power player on this patch. Yet last night, it was one of the few things standing between Agni Kai and completely getting embarrassed more than they already did. So, I like the Brand. It's always good. The Nautilus and Skarner, the double combo of huge CC tools. And speaking of CC, we have even more large fellas and big stupid buttons. And those big stupid buttons have been complete. There are so many large men, so many tanks on the board. I'm excited.
Yes, indeed. BDE is kind of answering, like you pointed out, that pick number 1 there, Brand, who, as you said, was a lot of damage, a lot of consistency, but if you can out-tank it, out-shield it, that damage isn't going to be able to take you out as easily. And on top of all that, they have the tankiness, like you were saying, but they also have, you know, the damage as well between Malphite. Even if he goes full tank Malphite, which I know you are in such high favor of AP Malphite, so I know that's what you really want here tonight.
Yes.
But I do expect to see another tank, because that's a very front, like you said, a nice beefy front line for BDE, and I do see here, as of right now, Caitlyn is not banned on either side, which is kind of crazy, because I've seen her every single game. If you don't pick her, or if you don't ban her, she is automatically picked. And with the amount of damage that they have and this insane front line that they have on BDE, I personally would be picking it up here. They have the first pick in the second round here, you know, in addition to those 3 nice tanky people like we had mentioned. But you know, Revolution on the other side, Gnar and Sejuani, that's not a bad front line either. You know, nice tank, it protects the brand, does exactly what they need to do. Let's see what the other 2 picks though, even though I think that's now locked in as a brand support, because we had the Sejuani. I was going to say it could be brand jungle, but I think it's going to be a brand support with the Gnar on the top side, Sejuani on the jungle here for Revolution, and then BDE. Pretty standard, but instead we're going to be going with the Sivir. Okay, can't really argue with that because of the CC, of course.
Yeah, Sivir is certainly an unusual pick, and we'll get to the other side of the board in just a moment.
Oh, yeah.
But Sivir is a great champion at enabling your players that need to get closer to their enemies. Skarner, one of those champions before rework, really appreciated having the Vayne, and I think now still appreciates it, maybe even more so. And I also think that potentially this does indicate that we're gonna have an AP Malphite, because giving him the extra move speed allows him to stay on top of people, so he's always getting those seismic slams, he's getting as much of damage out as possible, as many pinwheels as possible, and slamming them with his ultimate. And there's enough of a front line here that I think you could actually justify getting away with it. I'm excited to see the AP Malphite, because I think, you know, when we saw the triple burn Malphite, it gave it a maybe misrepresented the power of the AP Malphite that it can have. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have a champion who gets dunked on by every player on BDE, with actually 2 champions that kind of just get blasted by big CC buttons in Aurelion Sol and Vayne. Picked into Malphite, Garner, Nautilus. And I understand why.
Yeah.
Percent health, true damage.
Absolutely.
But you still, especially if this is an AP Malphite, you get killed instantly.
That's if, I mean, like you said, it's just a point and click. You know, we have the Malphite engage, we have the Nautilus engage as well, but this is going to be a Malphite mid here. You know, with Kled being locked in, I think that's going to be a Kled top, so it could be an AP Malphite mid. You know, into the Aurelion Sol, though, that's going to be a free lane for Aurelion Sol, so unless Skarner is just really present, pre-level 6, this is going to be pretty rough, and Aurelion Sol scales, you know, as the game moves forward, and Vayne is the tank slayer you know, herself, so she doesn't necessarily mind so much that they have, 3, 4, including Kled. I would say, having Skarl in there does add a little bit to the HP overall. But, the Malphite, the Skarner, and the Nautilus are definitely going to be your immediately frontliners, with Malphite being the heavy engage, like you said. Throwing it out there, AP Malphite. I hope it's tank, though. We'll love to see a tank. It's a little bit more survivability, and we've seen the difference in damage. It actually benefits more a little bit to be the tank rather than the AP, surprisingly, most of the time here. But, they should be focusing on the Aurelion Soul mid a lot. You're definitely not wrong about that from BDE. But unless we see the Nautilus roams and then it's like a 3v1, Aurelion Soul's just going to be able to pretty much disengage from every single gank attempt from Skarner pre-level 6. And so, that is just something that they have to be on the lookout for on the side of BDE. But, and then after level 6 with Sejuani, and as you had mentioned, the brand as well, that's a lot of CC that they have on the side of, Revolution here. So they just have to be mindful. It's going to be, heavy in the warding, trying to make sure that you're not caught out. Aurelion Soul is able to gank a little bit easier. He's able to fly over the terrain, but that Fog of War Malphite Unstoppable Force is nothing to scoff at after level 6 here. And I'm just really digging the front line currently on BDE right now. So I think personally, BDE kind of has the nice safer combo. You mentioned Sivir as well, being able to go ahead and get her allies exactly where she needs to with her ultimate to speed in or to get out. And Kled already quick, has the speed boost as well, and the Unstoppable Force is kind of like a point and click, very instant ulti. I mean, they just have a lot of good setup here for these specific engages, definitely around the bot lane.
Yeah, I gotta say, yesterday, the game 1 was like 2 very standard meta compositions, and it was like snore, snoozer. Now that we're in the real league, we have 2 very exciting compositions playing into each other. I think both of these teams, their objectives are to fight. They want to fight, and it's gonna be all over the place. When 2 scrappy teams at this level go at each other, it's pure entertainment.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to see. I think with that in mind, honestly, it's hard to call which draft I prefer in terms of what I think is better. I do think that it's just harder for Vayne and Asol to play the game. And that's going to really punish them. It comes down to, will they position well? And I don't know. I can't say. So I feel more comfortable giving the edge to BDE.
Okay. Yeah, it is going to be definitely about positioning as well. Remember, Revolution does come into this matchup already 2-0 over Corruption here, as of week number 6. But a lot can happen in those last couple of weeks. They both made it to the finals. They're both 3-4. And let's take a little bit of a look before we go to a intermission here of the 2 teams themselves. On Revolution side, that's going to be on blue side. We have Madness on the top side on Gnar, the Dino on the Sejuani, Leprechupa on Aurelion Soul, and Billy Badass on the Vayne with Booter Scooch on the Brand. Those are some iconic names, and we've seen some really good combos coming in from each of them. And then meanwhile, on the other side of the aisle here, BDE Corruption, we have Malphite in the top side. I'm sorry, I don't even have the roster up in front of me. Hold on, it's right here. There we go. We have XIL, I believe, in the top side, Swag on the jungle, Pandorm in the mid, Vampiric Narwhal on ADC, and then Lost Havoc here on support. So, haven't seen a whole lot. We just saw Revolution in that game, the in-house games a couple weeks ago, so they're definitely a lot more fresher on the mind right now. But, both teams did make it this far into the finals. We have 5 games to go ahead and go at it, but we can go ahead and speculate all day. But we are going to cut it to a quick little intermission, though, while we get ready for the end game. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Ryline and Becky Rita here, and we begin all the action. Game number 1 in the BOL Gold Finals. We have Revolution on the blue side, and we have BDE Corruption on the red side starting off for game 1. And it looks like we have some invade action happening here in the top side, Becky. Let's hope that they don't get caught out, which it doesn't look like that they will.
Yeah, they're not going to run into the bush that Leper Koopa and Madness are staying in unless they loop around. Oh, they're revealing themselves. That's kind of sketchy. But Lost Havoc was not in the right place to actually throw out a hook there. So neither team will end up going for that early game scuffle as we get some vision on a lot of wards, actually. There are 4 wards around the top side blue buff. The vision, we see it very clearly right now. So
it's a good thing though. I'd rather have too much vision than not enough. But 2 wards being placed and only 1 being known of by Revolution though. So that extra 5 gold never hurts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
oh,
and we completely disregarded Kled mid. But as some of you who are more familiar with these players noted, I saw reading the chat, you're familiar with Pando being a Kled mid enthusiast. I honestly think into Asol, it's pretty good. It seems like it'd be pretty decent. Obviously, until level 6, you might run into some trouble if you aren't, if you're having trouble with like minions and stuff. But once you get your ability to dive onto him, as long as you can kind of stop him from just jetting away from you, you can just destroy him so quickly. And I'm guessing Pando's going to try and hope for that, make the most out of Asol having to sit still with his channel and the bear trap on a rope. So I'm interested.
I mean, he has the range advantage as well, and it's working, early game. You saw all those auto attacks going off, and he was definitely dwindling them down a little bit there. And that's before he even gets all of his abilities, which he already has now because he's level 3. So, now we're going to see a lot of, I think, pressure coming in from Asol, but he doesn't mind just farming underneath tower, getting those stacks off. Meanwhile, in the top side, though, we did have a little bit of action, coming in from the Skarner. Okay, Swag with a nice early gank here. Volibear having to jump out of it. Let's see if he's able to. I'm sorry, that was Meganar, flashing out of it. I said Volibear. Sorry, they look a lot alike when they're in that big form. But yeah, Meganar able to hop on out. Burns the flash, though, so I think we're going to see a little bit of repeat gank action in the top side. That's what I do. Immediately when you burn an early flash, it is just prime for the picking. Get that repeat gank going as quickly as possible.
Yeah, especially because Exile has been played very well with the Malphite mana. I say that, and then they burn like 2 abilities. In Malphite, you toe a very fine line when you're playing Malphite because you have to burn so much mana to get anything done until you're like level 7, I would say. And then, your mana costs become slightly more manageable. But until then, you're just kind of, every Q you throw out is like a 1/5 of your mana bar. Every E is about a 1/6 of it. So his mana was in a pretty decent spot for a potential return gank, but it doesn't look like that was in the cards for Swag, as the Skarner has returned to the bot side, claimed that Scuttle Crab, and is now looking to start a re-clear on the bot side jungle. And Sejuani is down there, although they are aware of the Sejuani's presence.
Oh, yeah.
So not a whole lot of action quite yet. And some minor lane advantages being gained just in terms of CS. But I swear, this is gonna be real.
The realness can definitely happen. I mean, they do have the ganking potentials, level 6. I mean, look at the engagement there. Leper Koopa kind of falling asleep at the wheel here. There goes the ignite, there goes the flash. Is it going to be enough? One more ticker is all it needs. No, the health pot's coming in just in the nick of time, as Leper Koopa does not give up first blood here. And we still continue 0-0 at 5 minutes into the game. But like you said, it's like a little bit slow action, but that's only going to benefit the side of Revolution as this game continues. I mean, you know, the farm difference right now in mid lane, that's exactly what Asol wants. And hold on, in the bot side, a little bit of action here. Booter Scooch does get caught out, but a lot of damage going on to Vampiric Narwhal real quick. Belly Badass trying to focus down the Sivir, switches up to the Nautilus there. But yeah, that's some good damage. You know, that's not what you want to see necessarily early on from your kind of nice engage Nautilus and Sivir there, but that's kind of the drawback to Sivir. She doesn't have as much damage as Vayne does, especially later on in game.
Yeah, Sivir. I would say both, you know, Sivir and the Asol are both champions that, okay, it doesn't amount to Bear Trap on a row was not pulling him back there, but in the mid lane, we're seeing a little bit of, I kind of was like, in my head, I was like, oh, surely this is how this works out, and hey, it's working out that way.
Yeah, never mind. Sorry, I thought that we were going to see a little bit more there.
Yeah, I was thinking like, okay, we're going to get a real engage here, but now we're still playing slow. And like you said, that does favor the Vayne and the Asol, just because these are champions that really want to go late. Vampiric, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm not sure, but hold on. We have Kled coming into the bot lane as well. Nice condemn, and the first blood being picked up by Booter Scooch, unfortunately, not by Vayne. Vayne forces the flash, and the ghost is burnt as well, as goes Skarl. Sivir trying to go ahead and do what she can, but that's a lot of damage to Booter Scooch. 2 kills, 2 up, 2 down, as the gank, you know, it looked good for a moment, but unfortunately, definitely turned in the favor of Revolution there, as the first 2 kills being picked up on the board, and both going to the support.
Yeah, miscalculation from the charge there from Kled. I guess they assumed that, you know, Sivir on her own would be enough pressure to push Billy Badass and Booter Scooch more into the center of the lane, but as it turns out, Sivir on her own does not have the pressure to do that, so she ended up just being, oh my gosh, he's dead.
Yeah, that, no, he's not
dead. He's not dead, Jim.
He's alive.
Yeah, it's so close for Pando. One of these is going to go through, though. One of these is going to go through. So, yeah, back...
When do you see Kled have that much self-control, though, to not tower dive? Especially with Skarl, because the tower aggro, it gets off you, right?
Yes, it does. I believe it does reset. The question is... I mean, Sejuani was nearby. I don't think they might have had info on it, but... maybe they just are not trying to throw their life away for, you know, no real reason. Maybe they just kind of want to play it a little safer. And I think if you're Kled, you might as well just gamble. You have Skarl, didn't have Flash, so maybe they just didn't have a good way out. But yeah, I kind of think that maybe there was a dive there, but it probably would have still been tough because Asol's hard to get onto. He has a lot of get off me buttons.
And we have a little bit of action happening on the bot side right now. Sejuani waiting in the middle bush here. We do see, I'm sorry, not Sejuani, Skarner, but Sejuani's coming around the bend real quick here. Nice hook coming in from Nautilus, but the damage is already coming out. There goes Skarner onto the backline, but is it going to be enough? Cleanse being popped by the Sivir here. There's a lot of damage, but not enough. Glacial Prison does go down onto Last Havoc. The flash forward underneath tower. Brand does get another kill here. Is it going to be 2? Yes, it is. That is going to be the 3rd one in a row. Down goes Booter Scooch, though, as Pandorum does pick up 1 kill, though, in this team fight here, but that is all on the board for BDE as the victors, Revolution, expand their lead out just a little bit, but still, they got the shutdown onto Brand, so can't really argue with that.
Even getting a shutdown, not bad. Going on to Kled, probably fine. At least it wasn't the support. But speaking of supports, Vayne looking great this game. Already getting to her, you know, her Bork is almost there. You know, I don't know, but I don't know what she could have done to get more money, as she is the support for the carry of the lane, which is the Brand. Sometimes you play Brand and you just end up with all the kills. You're like, shit, I'm the carry now. Get over it. This is my world. This is my lane.
Couldn't said anything truer. But, and I mean, it's also unfortunate that Sivir, she has first strike. So she's probably expecting, okay, you know, I can hit with boomerangs, I can hit with ricochets, get a little bit of gold. But the Brand just keeps on hitting the minions, using his E, the flames hit, and then you're not able to capitalize on that first gold, on that first strike either.
honestly, First Strike seems like massive copium. Like this seems like we've really like we're huffing it. You know, we lost lethal tempo, and I know it's been dark days for Sivir without lethal tempo. All right, I understand how important it was for her. I get it, right? I get it. First Strike is not the sauce. Honestly, if you're gonna be going something like that where you're trying to spec into some of that front-loaded damage, why not just go like I don't know, dark harvest lethality? Like what are we doing? It doesn't make sense to me. But maybe Fleet, even Fleet.
I like Fleet. I was gonna, if you're gonna go for the on hit, go with Fleet. You have the sustain, but I don't know.
Like
this brand.
you get 3 fast autos with your W. You could even go press the attack. I feel like there's so many better options than First Strike here. I don't know.
We have a collapse happening though on the top side. It is going to be a 4v3. Swag is going to go in and go in. Stuns up Dino against the wall, but that is not a lot of damage. Sejuani doing a lot of return damage though. The flash forward. Oh, Meganar misses the ulti. That is hella unfortunate. Pandorm now is going to go ahead and turn around. There goes the trap's going to land onto Dino, but they are not going to go ahead and engage. Yes, there it is. The unstoppable force onto the back line, but nice Glacial Prison to go ahead and stop everybody in their tracks as it hits 4 people. Aurelion Sol now in the middle of the action. Swag is going to get taken down by Booter Scooch, and that's going to be a second one and a third one being picked up. 1, 2, 3, almost 4, never mind. Oh no, they are going to go ahead and continue it. Madness and Booter Scooch are going to go in onto Pandorm, and Pandorm, Skarl, get out of here, and that is going to be a lot of damage though. Oh my god, Booter Scooch with the red buff isn't going to be enough. Skarl does return here. Gnar trying to go ahead and get away, eats the plans greedily as he leaves the Brand with another shutdown, 300 gold. Actually, I don't know if Brand got shut down the first time or not, but he did get shut down this time, definitely, as 600 gold being picked up by the only one on the side of BDE that has kills. And hold on one second, Billy Badass is going to go ahead and dive underneath tower, flashes out of the Nautilus hook, and Pandorm sticking around way later than they really needed to be. And yeah, this is the madness. That is gold league, everybody. So this is exactly what I see in most of my games, being a gold member myself.
Hey, me too. Me too. This is life. This is hometown.
This is what I'm used to.
This is what I like. I can break this down because I've lived this world. So first of all, I think that topside fight really great. Just kind of good skirmishing from the side of Revolution. They made the most of the Brand passive. Brand got a full rotation out. Tons of extra abilities, tons of damage. The Asol was in a pretty good spot. I think, interestingly, Skarner tried to go for the drag back, and somebody knocked him over the wall with the blast plant, which ended up being really good for Leper Koopa. I don't know if it was like an accidental grief or a big genius play, but either way, it was really great, as now we have this.
Another team fight happening around the dragon and the bot side here. Leper Koopa is going to go in and take that one off, but that Brand damage is just actually unreal, as you called out earlier here. And unfortunately, Pandorm, who's the only one, once again, that has kills, double kill being picked up by Leper Koopa, is going to get condemned against the wall, and that is a clean 4 kills in that team fight around this dragon. Now it is definitely taken off 12-3 for Revolution, and this is just repeating exactly what we saw the first time that these two teams met up in the regular season here.
All right, who's the scrub Leper Koopa think he is, taking kills from the carry? Booter Scooch. Oh, what's going on? Really just a great... just a really well executed fight from Rev, making the most of BDE walking into the choke point, exploiting that with, again, the Pyroclasm going out, and once the Pyroclasm dropped, they got so much extra damage, and the HP bars were low enough that Leper Koopa could go in and prevent them from just walking away, cleaning up on the back line. So really just kind of making the most out of an overstep from the Skarner there. And I think that, exploiting the enemy misstepping is an important skill. You gotta always take those opportunities, and they've been doing well with that.
Yes, they have. And hold on one second. In the top side, though, we do have a 2v1 not in favor currently of Revolution, but Gnar is just one of those sneaky little champions. You can't really go ahead and let us get his Rage Bar all the way top, but we do have Dino trying to go ahead and help his friend here. Pandorum following up shortly behind. 4 members currently, yes, coming in from the red team, and we do have Dino, who is just putting in work while he waits for the rest of his team to show up here. Dino now is going to be the main focus. Flashes out of there. Madness right in the middle of it. Does get a 4-man Aurelion Sol ulti off XL69. Does take down Dino, but in return for his own life, a double kill being picked up again by Booter Scooch. And yeah, they are on the run. And yeah, meanwhile, in the mid lane, Vayne is just 1v1ing that Sivir because that's what Vaynes do. Let's go ahead, get a zoom in. Yamcha style right there. Sorry, Sivir. As that 1v1 is definitely not going to be going in your favor. You're with the 1v1 assassin ADC here. Swag is going to go ahead and jump over the wall, but not going to really be able to do much of anything.
Driving test failed.
Yeah.
You give me your license. Poor Sivir got cratered there, but we don't need to worry about her. What mattered was that top side fight. Madness was in a bit in a bit of a sticky spot, was not quite at Big Gnar yet. But fortunately, even though the numbers at the start were in favor of BDE, it didn't end up mattering because Leper Koopa was there up faster, Booter Scooch was there as well. The players that needed to be in the right positions were in those right positions faster, even if it was still kind of an even fight player-wise. By the time that BDE were in position to do anything, the fight was already lost. We saw the that Acel ultimate, the Gnar shove into the 3-man Acel ultimate was great. A huge restraint from Booter Scooch, waiting to throw out the Pyroclasm until they knew they could maximize it, waiting to follow up on your ally's CC, put them all into the chamber, and then obliterate them with the Pyroclasm. Very smart brand players sometimes are like, I can win the game just by clicking the button, and then they click it too early. But no, you kind of want to follow up CC where they're all bunched together like that. So great stuff from Booter Scooch, and the team again as a whole, making the most out of those windows of opportunity that they have been gifted. And of course, the cherry on top was just Sivir getting killed. I don't think Sivir's good, guys. I think Sivir's still bad. I think we still don't play Sivir. 3 levels different. What?
Oh my goodness, yeah, that is true. 11-9 right now in favor of the Vayne. I mean, look at that, 4-0 on 5 to the 0-4 Sivir. That's a lot of experience. It's a lot of CS that you just don't have. And why they keep on trying to fight is beyond me. I mean, you definitely, the objectives early on, I get that they're important, yes. But when you're this far behind, it's not worth giving up 4 additional kills. And then the objective on top of that. And nice flash, though, to go ahead and dodge out of the Sejuani engage. Great move by Kled just to, suppress the bleeding a little bit. The depth charge is going to go ahead and go off on to the brand here. He is alone, but that is got to be not for long. The Glacial Prism is going to go ahead and land to stop them in their tracks. Skies do descend onto the top side, and Booter Scooch, absolutely ridiculous ulti here, following up from the rest of the team. Leper Koopa, though, is in a little bit of trouble. Dashes over the Dragon Pit. Madness now focusing onto Pandorum. Dino trying to go ahead and provide support, and that is going to be a double being picked up here by Madness. 4 members once again being taken down, and another dragon. Literally what we were just talking about. If you're this far behind, you don't have to necessarily do these kinds of fights. There's only 5 kills that you have, 3 of which are on the brand, and the other 2 are on the jungle. The other high priority targets, the Vayne, the Acel, they are barely, I don't want to say barely getting touched here because Acel's at 40%, but like I said, they have the disengage. They're able to get out, and they have enough of this front line, enough of this damage where Vayne can just freely step up and just constantly be applying. I mean, 7 assists, 5 kills, that's 12 out of 20. That's a 60% KP right there on just the ADC. That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking, I will say, fortunately for a game one here that's this lopsided, if you're on the side of BDE, you can just like in post game be like, whoa, we got our asses beat. Let's try again. You're just it's like, oh, the series just started. I don't know why we're a game down. What happened? It's I think the biggest problem that we have run into for the side of BDE is the fact that their composition has no damage dealer. In my head, I when I was saying, oh, I like this composition, that was under the assumption that we were going to have Assassin Malphite, clicking his big damage button onto the mostly immobile carries of Rev, but this did end up being a hybrid tank AP Malphite. It's too late to buy AP. It's not gonna save you.
And it's 20-minute Baron, by the way. They just picked
20-minute Baron. 20-minute. I mean, they have Vayne and Brand and Aesol. They were gonna take it at 20 minutes regardless of where they were in the game.
That's true, and Kled definitely ulting there. He was getting burnt to the ground by Leopard Koopa.
He's not having any of that. So much burn. Okay.
Oh, nice gain coming in from XIL, but is it going to be enough? It might be. Vayne is doing a lot of damage, but yeah, that's a lot of return damage by Vayne, and then the rest, of course, Revolution is going to show up. The movement, the autos, Vayne does not die. That's insane. And just the communication aspect coming from the side of Revolution. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Gnar finishing what he started, taking out the Kled there, and that, I think, is going to be it for game number one as the empowered Revolution takes their charge into the base, taking out that inhib, and still have a 10-second death timer. I'm sorry, we do have Nautilus and we do have Sivir, but I don't think that they're going to be able to do anything to stop this as the second Nexus tower falls, followed up by the Nexus. And yeah, that is a very commanding, very dominant game number one that was won here by Revolution on blue side, 25-5 with a 45.6 thousand gold ending, and that is like 14,000 more than the side of BDE Corruption. And I mean, the charts just speak for themselves. 3 members, no deaths, top side, mid, and ADC. The 3 people that you needed more than anything, other than the Brand, of course, because he's the real carry here, that you just definitely wanted to keep alive. And I think they played that beautifully to a T, gave up very little jungle objectives. They had the absolute winning lanes in every single lane leading up to this, and then every team fight was absolutely just picture perfect. If they have a coach, he's probably weeping from joy right now, just because of how well that they executed in game number one. What a absolutely commanding victory picked up by Revolution.
You can't really ask for more. And honestly, there's not really a whole lot to break down. Unfortunately, this was just kind of a game of, the classic, if you've played it, for those of you who haven't had experience in some of the more scrappier, lower level competitive leagues. I've played on a few competitive teams. I played draft, so sometimes there are just games where you get blasted. Life is this big, wonderful, mysterious thing, and sometimes you go out like a buster, as a wise man once said. So this game, they went out like a buster. So I think hopefully they can kind of mentally reset, realize, okay, maybe we cooked a little too hard. Maybe we have to start picking champions that complete tasks in the game. And then once they do that, we can get a game of League of Legends on our hands instead of whatever this was. It's probably not legal in some countries.
Well, that, like you said, there's not really a whole lot that we can really say about game number one. The results speak for themselves. But while we get ready for game number two, we're going to cut it to a short little intermission. Do not go anywhere. You have Becky Rita, you have your boy Rylion. We'll be right back with all the action in game number two. Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Rylion, along with Becky Rita here, and we are bringing you all the action in the BOL Gold Finals between Revolution Eternal and BDE Corruption. And Becky, we had a very commanding, victory here for Revolution Eternal in game number 1. 25-5 was the ending of that score, by the way. With no deaths once again in the top side, in the mid, or on ADC. And Sivir, we threw that question mark immediately when it was picked. I think that was definitely the biggest one here. Caitlyn, Jinx, someone, Jhin even. I don't think we saw a Jhin ban, if I'm not mistaken. No, we did not. We only saw a Twitch and a Nyla as the ADC bans from either side here. But lots of things we could talk about for game number 1. What changes do you want to see come out in game number 2? As we do already see the brand being banned out from Eternal themselves, because they don't want to give it on over to Corruption, pick number 1 here. But what do you want to see different from Corruption coming in here to game number 2?
I hope that first of all we draft champions that do damage. That'd be a good start. Second of all, I think we just try and maybe step back and play something a bit more standard, more reliable. Even if Eternal go for something a little bit funkier, and they have some funky champions like last game, they still ended up playing pretty straightforward, right? They still played a very, vertical game of League of Legends. And I think that BDE kind of need to do that as well, not try and overcook their chances here, and just look for something a bit more reliable. And it looks like that's not happening, because we have Cho'Gath and Nyla up into Acel and Twitch, and now Alistar. So we are continuing the process of picking just the champions in the video game, which is great news.
Yes, indeed, and I apologize. Give me one quick moment here. I do have to step away for just one quick second. I'm so sorry. Hold on one moment.
Don't worry. I'll hold the fort here with Rylion's chair. As we have the bans coming through, we have oh, Noctisera's back. We have Gnar, Talia, J4, and Volibear all getting banned. A lot of jungle hits coming out from REV targeting Swag, and on the other side, hitting a couple of good champions. I think hitting away that Gnar, not a bad idea. Gnar has a very easy time into Cho'Gath, generally speaking, from my experience playing both champs, playing both sides of the matchup. Gnar is pretty okay playing into Cho'Gath, even though when you're mini, you're kind of a big feast target. Just as long as you poke him out, Cho'Gath is pretty predictable and struggles a lot into range, the mini Gnar form. Meanwhile, we have a Sejuani picked up, so REV going for a very similar kind of strategery right here, as they're focusing on just trying to lock down, once again, kind of big tanks that lock people down, paired with good DPS picks. The Twitch replacing the Vayne this time, and, I think that showed itself as a very good strategy to pull out. The support is going to be a little bit, maybe, obviously it's not a DPS like the brand was, but it does pair very well with the Twitch. Alistar can look to make plays happen from a lot of different angles, and has a pretty long engage range that Twitch can take full advantage of with spray and pray from everywhere and any situation. So yes, I do like that. I like that bot lane, as we have the draft completed. Ahri Aatrox for BDE, a little bit more normal for the final 2 picks there. No, is it normal? Oh god. Oh, wait a minute. I've been informed by the voices in my head that is Cho'Gath jungle.
I mean, Not horrible. He does have the true damage on the minions as well. So after level 6, those feast stacks are definitely going to go ahead and play into the favor. Plus, now with the jungle as well, you have the additional true damage coming in from the ulti. Sorry about stepping away there for a moment, but as you were analyzing that bot lane, the Rakan and the Nyla was banned out in game number 1 from the side of BDE, and now that they were able to go ahead and pick it up, that is going to maybe be a little bit different. We saw the Sivir last game, which very lackluster. Definitely not a lot of damage here, while Nyla is definitely going to go ahead and fix a lot of that. Plus, like you mentioned, you definitely need more damage, and they showed up. Aatrox, they have the Ahri now being locked in as the last 2. I'm not going to argue with the Cho'Gath damage. Like, once again, as true damage, level 6, level 11, level 16, that is going to be a little bit of a problem, for the Twitch and the ASOL, respectively. And the Alistar Twitch, though, that is going to be a little bit difficult, in my opinions, for them to go ahead and interact with. We saw how good the ADC is at positioning, and Twitch is like the king of positioning. Goes invisible, shows up when he needs to, sprays and prays, does all the 9 yards, right? Plus getting that extra, attack range as well, and damage coming in from the level 6 moving forward here. I mean, I'm really liking Eternal. They were able to pick up the ASOL as the first round pick as well. We saw how great that was in the team fights later, last game. It's going to be a little bit different because they're not going into a Kled this time. So, they are going to be meeting a little bit more damage, a little bit more resistance. But I still think that they're going to be able to get away from the gank potential that is Cho'Gath, because he's just gonna have to walk in the lane before he can do
Cho'Gath
anything.
ganks, watch out! Oh man, he's gonna walk in slowly and drop Rupture, which takes 5 seconds to go off. Oh my god, you can't dodge it. Apparently they think that everybody's on 200 ping, like the top laner of Agni Kai yesterday was. So it's I've tried to play Cho'Gath jungle. You depend on your allies landing their CC first. That's what I'll say. And there are some good CC tools that he can follow up on. The Rakan has a good knockup. Aatrox has a lot of ways to lock people into a spot. Ahri Charm as well should keep them in place long enough for the Rupture to go off. But I'm saying all those things. They're like, oh, we have to hit these abilities. Uh-oh.
After the charm, though, level 6, Rakan does have a good way of being able to set these things up. So I think Cho'Gath is definitely going to be spending a lot of the time, in the bot side. That's where I would be, primarily going. But top definitely has an angle. I mean, Renekton has the slice and dice, so he is able to go ahead and dodge, the Rupture a little bit quicker, than most, but can still get caught out, though. So they have to be mindful. But Eternal, they just played so phenomenally last game, and they have a lot of those same strengths, coming out from the Sejuani, coming out from the Aurelion Soul again, and then just kind of adding to the mix, having that Twitch and the Alistar as those really hard engages. It is going to be difficult, I think, for BDE, but mental resets, game number 2, completely different game. But all in all, who are you giving it to in game number 2? You have to pick one. Which one are we leaving with?
As much as I think the Cho'Gath jungle is very funny, it's very bad. It's not good. I don't know why we picked it. I don't know why, fate of the world on the line. So what's our first pick? Cho'Gath. Of all the champions, there are at least like 50 champions I'd pick before Cho'Gath. What's going on?
I want Iguodala. Give me that Cho'Gath.
I feel like I'd rather play some Heroes of the Storm champions. I feel like, you getting Slowbro from Pokemon Unite. I think he's better here. Well, it's not good. But yeah, obviously I'm going with REV. I feel like there are some interesting champions that BDE has, but they aren't good into the tools that REV have picked. So it's just going to go to REV, I think.
Absolutely. No, I'm going to agree with you. REV is on that 1-0 win streak already. They have great synergy. They have a lot of the same tools, but we're definitely going to have to see here. As we get ready, though, for game number 2, we are going to cut it to a short intermission. Do not go anywhere. Becky Rita and Boy Rye Lion will be right back. Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Rye Lion with Becky Rita, and we are in game number 2 of the BOL Gold Finals here. Revolution on red, and then we do have the lovely Corruption on blue here as they are down 0-1 going into game number 2 here, but that's all right. They're looking for the comeback, and Becky Rita, all eyes on Cho'Gath here. I think that they might be. They have the ability to be impactful, and if they are, that's going to be a nice, healthy change of pace.
Yes. If Cho'Gath is able to have an impact on the game, it will be good for the side of BDE. Big if, though. An if as large as Cho'Gath himself.
I mean, jungle objective control, kind of now leans in favor, of Cho'Gath, I think, a little bit. The ganks are going to be a little bit lacking. Wait.
Yeah, I mean, just even if the ganks are lacking, just power farm as Cho'Gath. He probably clears quickly. I don't fact check me. I'm sure it's fine. I will say, definitely, the fact that he's choosing to start Raptors is a good sign because it means that he's played this before. You need to make the most of your Vorpal spikes. You gotta just take the multi-hit camp first. You cannot solo the buff. Honestly, might even just wait to take the buff until later. Just take as many multi-camps as possible. Because your single target damage is non-existent on Cho'Gath. So we'll have to see. I'm interested how the pathing will go. I feel like it's not going to be great.
I think we had a little bit of Cho'Gath cam there as we were following on over to the Wolves there, but hold on one second. A lot of action into the bot side. Vampiric Narwhal already having to flash, and the flash forward and first blood being picked up by Billy Badass himself as he continues to go on the rampage that he started in game number 1. 2.5 minutes this time for first blood being picked up by none other than the Twitch.
I'm sure Neela is great from a deficit. Don't fact check me on that. It is okay, we have another re-engage.
Yes, we do. Onto the bot lane there, and
okay,
no,
it's not gonna amount to anything. Swag. First Cho'Gath gank.
There we go.
Eyes open.
Yes, indeed. Let's see if Swag's able to go ahead and hit it. He is level 3, but the slice and dice XIL. He's like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. Flashes forward into the tower, giving up his own life, but taking one for the team as well. Swag already up on the board now, 1-0 onto the Cho'Gath. That is going to go ahead and allow him to hit level 6 a little bit quicker, and get those nice big ultimates that we know he's going to get off later, get those stacks as well.
The worst part about that was Cho'Gath had to burn Flash. Oh no! And Cho'Gath did get the kill. That's great news. But like, obviously, you'd rather Aatrox get that, and Aatrox was gonna get that from the tower. So, honestly, this might be the worst possible scenario. I think what was the most... Okay, I feel like I'm being too mean.
No.
Look at that rupture. Look at that rupture. This is great.
The slice and dice, like I said, top lane is going to be very difficult for them to gank. Mid lane as well, Acel's just able to go ahead and fly right out of there. Bot lane is definitely where you want to try to be doing the ganks, but power farming, you really can't go wrong with that either. You have about the same clear time, if not a little bit better, because like you said, you have the spikes, for those types of camps, the same kind of AoE that Sejuani has, but still, you want to try to get to level 6 as quickly as possible and get control on these jungle objectives. Sejuani just kind of showing face onto the bot side, but yeah, no, they're already long gone. On the side of Revolution here. But, outside of the first blood, there is, only a 300 gold lead on the side of Revolution. So, they are doing relatively well in terms of CS across the board right now in every lane. That is a little bit of an upside that we saw last game. So, they are definitely, it seems like the mental has reset here, for Corruption coming into game number 2.
Yes, and I am also going to reset the mental here. These players are here to play, and I mean, man, Renekton is such a menace, but Honestly, yeah. Despite the fact that it was kind of that these early couple levels were maybe a bit scrappier. It was definitely scrappier than last game. It took us a while to get even the first one. Now we're actually seeing some action here. And I think that's good to see from both sides, that a bit more of this willingness to make things happen. And especially we want to see that from BDE. But it looks like we have a gank. Never mind. Not going to be able to get in range for that. Cho'Gath is around, though. I don't think they're going to go for anything, as we do have this.
Oh, no, right onto the bot lane we go. This is just nothing but a fiesta. Billy Badass doing some great kiting back and forth, getting those stacks off for the expunge. You know, and that poison, it's gonna do a lot more damage later on as the game continues here. But Nyla, if she's able just to outlast, but hold on 1 second, we have a nice little gank onto the mid lane. Not quite level 6 yet for Dino, so no Glacial Prison to lock down the Ahri. Ahri's gonna go ahead and Spirit Rush forward, though. That's a little bit wild. You know, as they try to lock down something. Top lane, the Slicing and the Dyson definitely going in favor of Madness right now in these skirmishes. And, you know, they just kind of inch away a little bit in damage, but they are staying right on top of them in terms of gold. And I think that's really a personal victory coming in for Corruption, I think, coming into game number 2 here.
Yeah, they definitely want to keep the gold as even as possible, because if Rev get that lead, they're going to just run away with it. Twitch from ahead is a nightmare to deal with. Leper Koopa on the Asol. We saw last game what Asol with gold and a gold lead does. It's not pretty. So by keeping the gold even, they can try and at least make it more of a match. And I think until we start getting to those late game fights with the Asol, the teams are relatively even strength-wise. And I think even now that we've hit level 6, there is a lot of power loaded into this bot lane duo. They can start going for kills onto the Twitch if Billy Badass isn't careful. So we'll have to try and keep an eye on that. Swag is up top, thinking about getting a lane gank here. We'll see if Renekton falls for it.
Yes, it looks like he is. He's going to go ahead and dash into him 2 times there. The Rupture is going to go ahead and knock him up now. All he needs to do is pop the ultimate, and there it is. 1 Devour stack down. Cho'Gath now 2-0 on the board. And this is kind of how it went last time. You know, only I believe it was the jungle last time that was also picking up these kills, but hold on. Dino making their way for a return gank onto the bot side. Here we go. Locks down Havoc. Havoc forced to flash. Tries to turn it around onto Twitch, but Twitch, the reaction is a little bit too big. The charm is going to land, but now it's 3v2. Not in favor, though, of Corruption. And yeah, that is just some great kiting, great positioning coming in from Billy Badass, and that is going to be a kill picked up respectively by Sejuani and Billy Badass. I mean, great job for reacting. Nice splash reaction also coming in from Leper Koopa. You know, Swag just got it up and just burnt it down again. Flashes down for another 5 minutes. And, I mean, a lot of movement across the board. They're trying to match things, and they are being successful. 1 kill for the top, 2 kills for the bot lane. Can't ask for anything better right now if you're on the side of Revolution. Along with Dragon.
Although Revolution did get the better of that bot lane skirmish, you know, that the 2v2 was tipped by the Dino, allowing Billy Badass to clean up. And Billy Badass really did have good positioning there, you know, staying enough in range to actually hit his opponents without, you know, being close enough to Nyla where she can start shredding people, or, you know, in range of any other major threats. I do have to commend Lost Havoc at the start of that. You know, once they saw Dino come in, crashed into Sejuani to stop her from getting onto Vampiric Narwhal. I think if that was like a straight up 2v2, they honestly might have been able to tip that just off of the fact that Vampiric was able to get a good start in that fight due to Sejuani getting stopped. So I do want to commend Lost Havoc there. That was a really heads-up interruption from the Rakan that unfortunately just didn't pan out because, you know, the players, there were just more players at the end of the day.
And that's how it works in League of Legends. Numbers sometimes, you know, almost always is going to win you games. Or fights, I mean. So you have to be mindful of that. But that was relatively close, though. You know, I think the bot lane of Corruption did do a good job setting up. And You know, Aatrox is trying to set up these fights here, and the top side does get the pull back. Ooh, not going to be enough, though, as Renekton just does walk out of there. And the top side is really seeming to be the main focus from Swag. I don't know if he's like, I don't want to deal with the Twitch, or, you know, maybe I don't think, you know, that we can win the 2v3. I'd rather just continuously go with the 2v1. Either I'm going to get the kill, or Aatrox is going to get the kill. And, oh, very nice. Little Charm is going to go ahead and land there onto Dino. Dino, though, has his backup as Booter Scooch and Leper Koopa waiting in the wings. These grubs are only going to be up for just a little while longer here, and they are going to go ahead and get started on the side of Corruption. And, you know, we do have the Devour available. Dino is going to go ahead and dive into it with half health, but over the window and through the woods, here comes Aurelian's Soul. Sky's Ascent is going to fall. Madness does take down Swag. Swag is out of there. Lost Havoc is getting really, really low, and that's going to be a double kill picked up by Madness. Now the focus goes on to XIL, and that's a triple kill. Ooh, unfortunate being picked up there by the Renekton, who was having a little bit of trouble against Aatrox. Definitely not so much anymore after all that gold infused into him, and that is going to be a 3-for-0 plus the Krubs being picked up by Revolution here.
Man, it kind of just... Honestly, that fight just, like, it collapsed so quickly for BDE. You know, they tried to get a good pinch around the grubs, but, you know, and that was a good roam from Lost Havoc going up there, you know, trying to contest the second round. But in the end, the top lane, Madness from the top side, just had... It just ended up doing so much damage on this Renekton and frontlining so well with the Sejuani that it didn't make much of a difference. As now Booter Scooch could be looking for something. We've got a TP. They're in trouble.
Yes, we do. Leper Koopa TPing onto the backside, just like you said. Vampire Narwhal, though, getting a lot of good damage done onto Leper Koopa, but that Twitch is just absolutely relentless. Takes down Lost Havoc. The rest of Revolution, though, is here. Leper Koopa does get taken down. Oh, my goodness, so that's going to be one. But, man, the Rat-a-tat-tat from the Rat himself is just absolutely going bonkers right now. Swag is going to be next onto the menu here. Is it going to be a triple kill? Yes, it is. Triple kill. Billy Badass 5-0 continues the onslaught. That is this AD carry. Pandorum trying to you know, stick around, see if he can save. The Glacial Prison barely misses the Tippy Tonus of Pandorum there, and Booter Scooch a little bit too close for comfort, but with that lucky ulti and the 60% damage reduction does get out of there. And yeah, that is another successful team fight in favor of the winners currently, Revolution, in the series.
Booter Scooch, I mean, has truly an unbreakable will, this game. Man, again, it's like, I do think that, again, the start of that didn't look too terrible for the side of BDE. Obviously, you know, Twitch turned somebody into a pincushion, but before that, you know, Narwhal was actually getting a lot of damage, had a good interrupt onto Asol. You know, Asol's, you know, Breath of Light was trying to, you know, take him out there first, and I do think that was good targeting, good target selection from Narwhal. But unfortunately, it just took a little bit too long to kill the Asol, and then the exhaust came down from Twitch, and at that point, there just wasn't enough damage from anyone. And I think, tragically, most tragic of all, Swag wasn't able to get a feast stack because it was not up. They had used it on a camp, so it was not available to use as an actual execute tool for that fight. That's one of the tough parts about playing Cho'Gath, especially when you're trying from behind. Is like, you really are like, I gotta get this HP now, but what if I can get a kill? So it is really tough to make that decision, and Swag's gonna find something.
Oh, yes, we are. Madness is going to go ahead and dash in like the madman that he is. Nice three-man charm is going to go ahead and land there by Lost Havoc, but is it going to be enough with the follow-up damage? Yeah, it is looking good. There goes this guy's descent. It's going to land on all four members, and that dragon is just busting out the heat, as we do have Ari trying to go ahead and Spirit Rush onto the back line, but with two of her members fallen, she is going to be the third one here, and Rakan and everybody else is going to get to safety. Vampire Narwhal, I don't even think was a part of that fight, as both of the ADCs, Billy Billy Badass and Narwhal just kind of, you know, going along there, and Narwhal able to cancel out that ulti that is Twitch, the rat-a-tat-tat, but still, look at that damage that is coming from him. We do have Lost Havoc making his way onto the bot lane, but he knows he's there because that bot lane has been lit up like a Christmas tree. Like the whole part of this game, there's not been a ward without in the most crucial parts that you really need to make sure that you don't get, you know, ganked like that.
Yeah, good, you know, good vision there. And again, that was just a fight that ended so quickly once it was started. At this point, you know, the top side, the top 4 players are at such a deficit that, you know, Renekton is enough damage, and Leper Koopa is enough damage. They crash the MV. I mean, the Sky's Descend there was incredible. Like, it, obviously, you know, fully charged Sky's Descend is always going to do a lot, but there it was in the right spot. It did a lot of damage, and honestly, I really like the Rylai's first coming in from Leper Koopa, because it allows them they already have great tools at keeping this relatively melee range composition at arm's length. So by adding on a Rylai's on top of that, this composition that already has to try and get on top of you through any means necessary has even fewer chances to do that. And it's a really kind of a smart build decision. It might just be what you build. I feel like Rylai's first is a little strange, but it was really good tech for this game specifically, and for the enemy champions, and you have to commend that when you see it.
Oh yeah, just able to slow down. He knows that he's not exactly the hyper carry. I mean, he's not without. He's 0-1 and 8. You know, 8 out of 13 KP is still pretty phenomenal. I think that's in the 60-70% range there. But just you're able to slow down just enough for the actual carries, the Renekton, the Twitch, to go ahead and show up and do exactly what you need to do to secure these kills. You know, as long as you're not dying yourself as a soul, which they weren't. Hold on one second. Twitch coming in onto the bot lane here. But wow, there are 3 members on the side of Corruption. But it's not even going to be enough to deal with this. Lost Havoc trying to go ahead and get a charm, but man, that Billy Badass is one badass when it comes to the kiting and the positioning here. Lost Havoc is taken down to about 30% health. Ari waiting in the wings. Swag trying to go ahead and go for another gank. Booter Scooch, though, is not going to allow that ward to fall, not without a little bit of something to say himself. But wait a second, getting caught out a little bit too close. Nice knock up. Here comes the teleport as well. Dino is going to go ahead and lock down Swag. Swag is going to go ahead and get frozen up into place. Billy Badass with the expunge, and there goes the Sky's Descent as well, but definitely not fully maxed out yet, so not enough damage or follow-up from anybody. Dino scaring everybody into the T1 tower, as they don't even know that he's the only member there currently for the side of Revolution. I think they might have figured it out, though. Dino overstepped his boundaries. Booter Scooch trying to go ahead and provide some kind of peel. The Glacial Prison goes madly wide. Badass, or Billy himself, is going to go ahead and try to do a rat-a-tat-tat, but wait a second. Nice Spirit Rush into the charm. Shutdown being picked up by Nyla. That's exactly the little bit that they probably needed here. 2 members and 3 members. A double kill being picked up by Vampiric Narwhal. They did have to give up the tier 1 mid tower, but I think totally worth to finally get up on the board and get those shutdowns that were so crucially needed by the Nyla. The 500 extra gold being picked up by Billy Badass there. And I mean, that's what comes with the territory. You know, when you have such a dominating game number 1 and you're doing the same exact thing in game number 2, you tend to get a little bit cocky. You get to overstay a little bit sometimes, and we see that's definitely not what you need. That could be the comeback goal that they needed to really make this game a difference and even it up 1-1 here tonight.
Yeah, at the very least, that is a punish that will mentally help the side of BDE. You know, they've definitely been on the back foot in game 1 and game 2 as well. They've been struggling to make things happen, but we saw there what their comp is capable of. You know, fighting in a choke point when the enemies don't have the ability to dodge the rupture, it's the best ability in the game. So and that's not even a joke, right? That's just, it's really good into those tight spots like that. So, you know, getting that CC down, and then, you know, without the big damage dealing buttons, like you said, they kind of overstayed, so they didn't have those buttons. There just wasn't any way for them to fight, and they do get punished for it. And Narwhal did a good job taking advantage of that opportunity. So, That's great for them. This is what they need to see right now. They need this Nyla to start accelerating and be able to contest this Twitch and this Acel later in the fight. But we do have a Baron attempt, and it's going to be discovered, but this TP is going to be a little bit precarious.
Oh, no. Yep, that Pandorum forced to do the Spirit Rush immediately. Oh, the Glacial Prison misses a little bit wide, though. Cho'Gath going onto the backline, onto the Twitch. Swag takes out Billy Badass. That's exactly what they needed to do. Ari's going to go ahead and fall, but Bootercooch is going to take out Lost Havoc. Vampiric Narwhal is doing a lot of damage staying alive right now, but that CC chain is just unreal. Madness on a godlike rampage, and Dino forced to flash as well. We have 2 members down on each side. No, I'm sorry, 4 members now, as Pandorum is the only one left, and that is a great charm to go ahead and land onto Dino here. Is he going to be able to take him out? Yes, he is with the return kill, and that's going to be a 4-for-4 double kill picked up across the board. Pandorum picks up their first 2. Madness moves on to 9-2 now, has a 700 gold shutdown, but that did stop them from at least getting a 20-minute Baron. So I think these team fights, even though they're 4-4, that's still heavily in favor, I think, of Corruption there. I mean, with how far behind they are in gold still, about 4k gold, how they're behind in items and everything along those lines, they shouldn't be able to do what they are doing right now. But Swag says, jump in my backpack. I'm going after the Twitch only. Ulted a little bit too early, but still got enough damage on him to where Twitch was out of that fight immediately.
Yeah, the 4-for-4 there. If you are BDE, you take that every day of the week. Importantly, they stopped the Baron. Secondly, there they got a lot more gold on their actual champions right there. And as you said, we have another fight.
They're not done just yet, though. The Dragon is going to be the new fighting grounds. Dino and Bootercooch definitely trying to do what they can to make sure that they are not giving up the advantage. They have the first 2 Dragons on the side of Revolution. They are trying to go for all 3, but wow, they're actually able successfully to zone them out. They said it's only the first Dragon for them. Let's go ahead and give them a Chem Take, but you don't want to give them 4 Chem Techs, though. Top side, we do have Renekton that's going to go ahead and push that out. They aren't going to stick around, though, the Dragon that long. They definitely want to collapse and stop that advancement, as the top 2 towers are already gone here, but they're slowly coming back on the side of Corruption. I'm liking this gameplay.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Leper Koopa. Yeah, that's going to go ahead. That's a lot of damage. There goes the Sky's Descent. Dino showing up here. Now it's a 2v3. Madden is also showing up right behind. Lost Havoc is waiting in the wings, able to provide a little bit of support, and Swag just going to go ahead and body block for his good friend Narwhal there. But yeah, I'm liking the positioning that they're doing right now on the side of Corruption. I mean, this is exactly how we thought the late game was probably going to go, with the Nyla, with the Cho'Gath as well, and they are performing exactly how they need to coming into the mid to then early late game.
Yeah, I think this is at the point where BDE are going to be honestly, maybe their strongest relative to how REV is, because, Acel is going to inevitably get incredibly strong. So, at this point, Nyla is very much capable of matching Twitch in terms of damage, and the Cho'Gath is at the point where he's tanky enough to not die, but the opponents aren't tanky enough for him to actually be a damage-dealing threat. So, as we saw there in the first fight around the Baron, we saw what Cho'Gath does best, and that is right-clicking towards the enemy AD carry and then killing them instantly. That is what Cho'Gath is good at doing, and Swag has proven that it does work. So now it's just a matter of repeating that process, because honestly, Madness is pretty dangerous. This is a very angry crocodile. He's gonna start snapping people in half. But aside from the angry crocodile, there actually isn't a whole lot of damage quite yet, because Leper Koopa's build ended up not being super damage oriented. So it also taken a ton of damage there from XIL. So I do think this is not a bad place if you are BDE. They do get that Drake. They've put the Baron back on the back burner. They are losing turrets. I think that's going to be something that they have to kind of be concerned about. The Renekton has been putting a lot of side lane pressure in, but that aside, this is certainly a much better position than I think anyone expected, judging by the early game.
Yeah, the early game was a little bit rocky there, but with Cho'Gath getting, those early kills, it was hard to translate those kills into effective ganks. I mean, we said it time and time again, almost everybody has the ability to get out of the Rupture, which is the only CCing ability that Cho'Gath even has to show up. But come the late game, when he's able to go ahead and focus down the ADC, like you said, he just right-clicks, runs that, and then ulties. And the follow-up damage and the ability for Ahri, even though she might give up her own life, she's able to get in, do a lot of damage to everybody. Nyla pulls him into one spot, Cho'Gath knocks up, Ahri just starts throwing out all of her abilities, and then you know that Twitch is just going to die because of the amount of AoE. The only problem is do you use your CC chain on the Cho'Gath, or do you try to lock down the Nyla, like Renekton's been doing? But do you do the Sejuani ulti on top of that? Do you put a lot of the emphasis onto the Nyla, or do you put it onto the Cho'Gath? And right now, I think the answer is you put that onto the Cho'Gath. He's the only one that can just run straight through your entire line, get to the Twitch, and kill him almost instantly.
Yeah, it's it's good. It's good if you have been watching. If you're rooting for BDE right now, this is now that the game has slowed down a little bit. It's kind of raising an eyebrow a little bit, but yeah, now that we've got another objective coming up. We have the Drake in about 30 seconds. Swag gonna have to save the feast for that. I'm pretty sure they're probably at 6 minions anyways, so yes, they are at 1 minion, 5 monsters, so they have nothing left to chomp in the jungle, so they are only going to be saving that for objectives and the objectives and champions. So my god, we
over the
found
wall.
Manny
What is
Carey
that?
on
Yeah,
the
he's
road.
gonna go ahead and smite as well to try to slow him down with that Rupture once again. It is definitely a literally hit or miss move there. We have all 5 members though coming in. Oh no, I'm sorry, we only have 4 members. Aatrox still pushing out that top side, trying to match that lane pressure that Renekton's been going through. The dash forward, the charm misses just barely, but that is a lot of damage coming in. Billy Badass, nice movement, nice everything. The charms come through, and yeah, that is gonna be enough. Vampire Narwhal does take down Billy. Meanwhile, into the backside, Booter Scooch is going ahead and falling. Yes, double kill being picked up by Narwhal. Oh my god, this is actually unreal. Unfortunately, though, Madness does take down the Narwhal, and that is going to be 3 members along with Leper Koopa, who's just absolutely doing work with the Dragon's Breath there, and that's a triple kill being picked up by Leper Koopa. 4 members down for the side of Corruption, and they start these fights so well, but now I think we're getting to that tipping point. We have the Leandri's coming in from ASOL. The Renekton is 10-2, has a Death Stance, has a Therix Gauge, has a Sundered Sky, plus the Eclipse. He has 4 items. I mean, that's a lot of damage coming in onto just Vampire Narwhal specifically. He is not targeting anybody else besides Narwhal in this fight. And still being able to get 2 kills off Narwhal, that is not bad. But it's just not enough, I think, at this point, as the lead now, 10 kills, 5k gold lead in favor of Revolution.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're now reaching the point where you can't just ignore ASOL. And I do have to commend Leper Koopa. They fought that one on a knife's edge. They were really close to just getting it instantly killed if they weren't, being aware of where Aatrox was, where the Cho'Gath abilities were going out, keeping track of where Narwhal was.
Right.
All of that was very important for them to maximize their damage. You can't do damage if you are dead. So it is very good from them. And more importantly, we're reaching that stage where this is no longer a 1 damage comp. We've got 2 threats. Can you deal with it?
Oh man, these charms are just barely going wide, and I think that was the dilemma from last game as well. Pandorum not able to land that charm, but hold on 1 second. Oh my god, Lost Havoc is definitely lost in space right now. Swag is going to be taken down immediately afterwards. That Twitch is coming with a vengeance as 3 members are out now for this Baron, including the jungler, and this looks like a nice Revolution pickup onto the Baron, the second one of the game here, as no members are down in that team fight. Yeesh, that is definitely not the look. 30-second death timers right now. They're not able to effectively end, but they can definitely siege down right now and do some damage, at least open up the base right quick here on the side of Corruption. But it's, yeah, Pandorum, you're dashing in, you're setting yourself up, and then just barely missing these charms. And it's just literally a make or break for these team fights. And it's just, unfortunately, it's like you're baiting your own teammate to their demise.
Yeah, these are very honestly, this is pretty challenging comp in general for a BDE to play, especially, big cojones on them, trying to execute, bringing this comp in after losing game one, feeling like we have the ability to play it. And for a while there, it looked like they did, but it just reached a point where they can no longer just depend on we kill Billy Badass and we win, right? No, you can't do that anymore. And as we saw there, sometimes you can't even kill Billy Badass.
A nice guy's defend, and oh man, I know Lost Havoc tried to do what he could to get onto the back line, but he was completely by himself. No follow-up from the rest of the team here, and there goes the Dragon's Breath coming in from the A-Soul. The charm, though, does land as the tower aggro is going to be enough to go ahead and get him out of here, but that Twitch just sitting onto the back line being relentless. Dino, oh, another charm goes wide here for Pandorum. Dino, very, very, very low. The Spirit Rush onto the way in, but only to get CC chained by the Renekton and the Alistar, and that is going to be all 5 members. That is not at all what they needed to do. The empowered team that is Revolution now is going to be able to freely open up these Nexus towers here, take them both down, and I think that's going to be all she wrote, my friend, here for game number 2, as Revolution moves on 2-0 in this best of 5 finals for the BOL Gold League.
Yeah, we are now reaching match point for the side of REV. They have first game, a super dominant, barely over 20-minute. This game ended up being a lot longer. BDE held their own quite formidably in the mid game, but unfortunately were not able to get enough gold back from what they lost in the early game. And by the time they started taking those fights, the game had just been passed, very, very, very cleanly from the hands of Billy Badass over to the hands of Leper Koopa and Madness. So a good transition from the mid to late stage of the game by the side of REV really allowed them to prevent BDE's composition from doing what it wanted to do. It did perform better than I expected. I will give them that. I thought it was going to be a disaster, but Swag actually played pretty decently on the Cho'Gath, about as well as you could have. So, relatively speaking, they played pretty well, but they were in a bad matchup across the board. So the fact that they were able to find, Twitch at all, gotta commend them for that. They got it at least once. Unfortunately, one time is not enough.
No, I mean, a couple of those team fights, when they, evened it up 4-4 in that one team fight around Baron, I thought, okay, hey, as if they're able to at least come out even, Madness wasn't falling. He was able to clean it up, which is kind of unfortunate here. As you saw, 12-2 on the Crocodile himself. He only died twice, and that was in the early parts of the game. After that, never saw death ever again for the rest of the game. And, Madness did a commendable job getting onto the back line, taking care of Nyla, or taking care of Pandorum, because he did switch his targets up if need be, whoever was the higher priority one in the previous fight. So I definitely have to commend him for that. Definitely the MVP there for game number 2, but Leper Koopa on the Aurelion Soul pick again in game number 2. We saw how effective it was in game number 1. We saw how effective it is in game number 2. I definitely don't want to see it in game number 3. It has to be one of those bans. Those Brand was enough a priority to get rid of him after game 1. I think A-Soul definitely has that same priority. Me personally, he just is able to stand in the back. If it's not Twitch, it's A-Soul. If it's not A-Soul, it's Renekton. They just have too many avenues, and constantly keeping that one open is not doing them any favors. But we can go ahead and we can speculate and do everything we want. We are going to set up, though, for game number 3. This could be, like you said, the last game, as that does put Revolution on game point here, but we're not going to know until we get into it. So don't go anywhere. Becky Rita and your boy Ryline will be right back with game number 3 of the BOL Gold Finals. All right, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Ryline, along with Becky Rita here, and we have BDE Corruption versus Revolution Eternal. Revolution Eternal currently up 2-0. This could be the final game in this best of 5 series for the BOL Gold Finals here. And with the way that it's looking in game number 1, with a very commanding victory for Revolution, and then a little bit of a tricky mid game there for Revolution. So I think BDE kind of are still finding their niche a little bit, and they're getting a little bit closer, it looks like, as we set up for game number 3 here. But I would like to see at least a game 4 coming out of these two matchups. I mean, the first game, definitely, I don't know what was going on. They just seem not to have their bearings. Maybe it's just nerves, don't know. But game number 2, they definitely locked in. They had the Nyla pick, which took a little bit to get on, and Cho'Gath, like you said, surprisingly pretty effective here, for the side of Corruption. But it's going to be the same sides, by the way. BDE chose to go on blue side again, going into game number 3 here. Revolution on red side. And Revolution, third game in a row, locking in the Sejuani. They finally got rid of the Asol, so we definitely know that's not coming through. And Brand being banned on Eternal, so we're going to have to find some new picks here. I mean, I asked you last time, now that you've seen the first 2 games, what can BDE now do to adapt going into game number 3? In your opinion, Becky?
Just be normal. Be normal. Pick some real champions. I like pocket picks. I like, funny champions that have, these little niches and little angles. And I think you should be looking out of just the meta if you're looking to compete in the highest levels of play. You should be looking at those niches, what you can utilize these less than good champions for, to make the most of them. It's not working. It's not working. You need to just pick something that is a bit more standard. I don't know if Zyra Trundle is standard. I feel like Zyra Jinx is a little bit less off. Oh no!
Oh, we've seen this before. We have seen this before when they versed their other in-house counterparts, the other Revolution team, that Seraphine Sona combo. But hey, Zyra Jinx though, that's a lot of damage. Especially in the early games, they do have the capability. Trundle, I think that's going to be a Trundle top lane, so not a Trundle jungle. So, they could still pull out the Cho'Gath technically, as Ahri and Volibear are going to be the last 2 bans here for the side of Revolution, and the Gnar and the Annie being taken out here from BDE. I'm still, once again, very happy to see that the Asol's gone, so that makes me happy. But to be replaced with a Tristana is definitely not a, fun thing to transition with. Tristana with the bursty damage, definitely has good early game as well. I definitely would like to see some kind of lockdown, hard CC, a Maokai maybe coming in from the jungle of BDE. Victor, it looks like, is going to be the answer to that Tristana in the mid side here. But who would you like to see coming, at least as a jungler, if it's not Trundle, on the side of BDE?
I mean, not to reveal my hand that I've been snagging jokes from the chat.
Yeah. I like it. Hey, I like that. I'm not gonna lie, I do like it. Tristana the buffer. It is definitely better this game. A lot less dashes to get out of it. Mundo doesn't get affected. We're still probably gonna see a lot of top focus though. Coming in from Trundle, as he's just gonna be able to side push as very, very well. And never mind.
So good.
Kennen is instead.
Turtles comp is so good.
I do like it. The AP I think is a little bit heavy though from the Seraphine Sona Kennen aspect. But they're not really going to be building a whole lot of MR on the side of BDE. Zyra, Victor, that's some good AP damage, but I do like the transition to the 80 between the Trundle and the Jinx, though. And we saw what Cho'Gath was able to do, just running onto the back line, killing the Twitch immediately. I don't think he's going to have that much of a problem when coming up to the Seraphine APC. She can use Encore, but you gotta make sure that if you're shooting it at Cho'Gath, that it's gonna hit other members. And I think that they're gonna, they did do this last time where they kind of split up. Cho'Gath kind of, positioned himself in a certain way where the Rat-a-tat-tats weren't hitting the rest of his team, while the rest of his team was flanking from a different position. So I definitely think that BDE could pull out a team fight. I like the Zyra, I like the Jinx, I like the Victor. That's a lot of damage in an AoE aspect that they don't have to do anything or worry about. You get a Runin's Hurricane, you have the rockets. Jinx is able to do damage on everybody. The Encore only goes in one specific direction, and who are you going to focus it on? Cho'Gath? Trundle? I mean, they got to make sure that they're not all in one area to get hit by like a Mass Cannon, Seraphine ulti, or like a Sona Seraphine combo. But I do really personally like BDE's composition coming into game number 3, and I'm actually going to be voting for them as the victors here for game number 3. I want you to break down your perspective. How do you feel about both of these comps going into game number 3?
I'm glad you're optimistic. That makes one of us. It's.
Oh man.
I see the timeline. All right, I see the timeline where BDE have the ideal fight where they are able to, deal. Cho'Gath's able to get onto one of the enchanters. And chomp them up instantly. And as we kind of discussed when we saw this previously, if you're going to deal with the double enchanter, you got to kill one of them as quickly as you can. At least until Sona or Seraphine can carry the weight of both of them. You have to just kill one of them. And Cho'Gath is very good at doing that. And Jinx, Zyra, Victor, that's a ton of damage that I think really is a better call than what we saw last time, where the damage was just a little too low to crack through all of the healing and shielding.
Right.
But it's so hard to approach this Rev team. That I think is going to be the real breaking point, is they have to get through Encore, Crescendo, Buster Shot, everything Sejuani has, Slicing Maelstrom. They have to get through all of that to approach one of the enchanters. Fortunately, the damage is low enough that I think, Cho'Gath and Trundle could live through all of that CC.
Agreed.
But for how long? That's going to be the question. As I think if you are Seraphine this game, you absolutely need to build the Mage Seraphine with the Malignance and burn items and just try and kill your opponent as quickly as possible. Especially because you're going to need to be able to cut through Cho'Gath. And if you're Tristana, it's going to be on whether or not Tristana can get a solid lead. Because it's very easy to spec MR into this Rev team. So if they're specking MR, that means that it's going to be on the Tristana, which is, of course, Tristana top lane, and into Cho'Gath in the top lane, not a Cho'Gath jungle. We've role swapped players, by the way.
Yes.
So we'll have to talk about that when we get into the game. But as I started talking through this, I saw the double enchanters and I was like, it's so over. It's never been more over. But I think I kind of do get how BDE win this. So I'm gonna believe. I'm gonna be a believer too.
Well, we'll have to see what these lane swaps are, because I was like, are they trading or not trading? And then the ticker kept on going, and I was like, okay, it looks like they're not trading, and they're actually just going to be swapping lanes entirely, I believe. But we will we'll definitely go into that once we get into game here. But I'm glad we're both on the same page. BDE, you know, probably has the ability to pull this off to make it into a game number 4 here. You know, if gods do bleed, we will have to see it in this one because this is for all the marbles, my friend. Is it going to be a 3-0 for Revolution or a 2-1 leading to a game number 4? And we could see that comeback just like we did in 2016 with the Cavs. So we'll definitely have to wait and see. But do not go anywhere as we get ready for the in-game setup. Your boy Ryline along with Becky Rita will be bringing you all the action in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It is your boy Ryan Lyon with Becky Rita, and this is potentially the last game of the BOL Gold Finals, as we have match point currently set up for Revolution Eternal versus Big Duck Entourage Corruption. Currently lead the series 2-0 right now, and they showed their face very quickly. You know, quick little emo action there, but I thought we were going to see a little bit more action, but definitely not. And as we had mentioned, there are some lane swaps going on the side of BDE, which is once again on blue side. We have Zill onto the jungle role this time. Pandora's still in the mid, but we have Swag now as the support and Lost Havoc now as the top lane Cho'Gath. And unbeknownst to us, so never mind, I was going to say, now it's still going to be a Kennen top here. They're just going to go ahead and I'm going to swap that down there. It is Kennen top with Tristana in the mid lane on the side of Revolution Eternal, because we thought it was going to be a Tristana top for just a couple moments there. That's how they kind of queued it up, but they're like, definitely not. But 3 teleports, look at that, on the side also of Revolution. Only 2 teleports for the side of BDE. So, you know, these late game jungle objectives, you're going to see a lot of members on the side of Revolution show up.
Yes. You know, the chat has been spamming to let Dean yap. So I would like to share from the chat an all chat message from the Dean at Zero. How generous of you to give me the title of undisputed best jungler in the league. So, yeah, as you can see, the jungler is no longer there. The jungler is now a Zyra. The top laner is now a Trundle in the jungle. And the Zyra is now a Cho'Gath in the top lane. So, things are looking very strange. Okay, good aggression. Making the most of Zyra. This is looking decent. It's a decent start down there.
Yes, indeed.
I want to try and talk a little bit about theory behind role swaps. You know, fate of the world on the line. Why are you role swapping? It's because it might be desperation. Maybe you just need like a change of pace. Maybe you were on the role because of the start of the season, and mid-season you kind of swapped to a different role, and you've not been feeling like you're playing your best, so you want to try something else, right? Or maybe you're scared of your lane opponent. That's been me. That's why I've role swapped in the past, because I get obliterated by who I'm laning against. But at the end of the day, it is just kind of strange. Oh, I just realized that the Tristana is in the mid lane.
Yes.
I didn't even care. You know, let Leper Koopa play your top lane Kennen. God bless you. That's not the important part. For the side of BDE, it really, it feels like, is this desperation or do they know something I don't? And I want to believe that they know something I don't. But we'll have to see, as we do have a potential scuffle around the scuttle.
Yes, indeed. I mean, that is going to be a smite onto the scuttle here. Nice collapse coming in. So we are going to have a 3v2, though, as the mid lane comes up as well. And, oh, great. That's a nice knock up onto Dino. But hold on 1 second. Yeah, that pillar going ahead and kind of locking them in there with them. But Madness and just having the numbers in general, that's going to be Revolution for a first blood on the Tristana, which is already a lane bully on her own. So you definitely don't want to give up these early leads, especially to a Tristana. And there we go, Tristana hopping in again, Pandorum. You know, we saw a little bit of an early scuffle, like you had mentioned earlier. You know, and it was definitely in favor of Tristana. You know, she has the oh, never mind, Fleeting Footwork. I thought she went Halo Blades to get those E procs off as early as possible here, but Narwhal stepping up though, and then we have 4 members collapsing onto Dino. Dino forced to flash actually over the wall there, so managed to get the scuttle, but has to burn the flash there before this first dragon is going to be up in 15 seconds. So that might actually go into BDE's favor for the first dragon of the game.
Yeah, first Drake of the game could be a potential opportunity here, as, you know, Sejuani will not have that flash. But that first blood did go over to the Tristana, and that is exactly who you want to get first blood. With your very AP-oriented composition, you want your Tristana to start getting accelerated early, because it means that the tanks can't just build magic resist. They have to deal with Tristana. So I do think that is very good for them. And, you know, giving Tristana confidence is one of the worst things you can do. You do get a flash.
Man.
Good flash. That is a hard wall to flash. So it's very easy to screw up flashing into that wall. So you take the little victories like that. You don't want to have to burn flash, but at least you didn't waste it.
That is very true, and Revolution's going to go ahead and take advantage of the fact that they have Prio now, and they are able to go ahead and secure that first dragon of the game. You know, they definitely wanted to wait. They didn't want to force anything, you know, with Dino having to burn the flash in the last time that they were down there. So that Cloud Drake is going to get picked up here by the side of Revolution. So extending out their early lead just a little bit more, you know, around 800, 900 gold, respectively. And, you know, everyone else still doing pretty okay, you know, in terms of farm. You know, the first blood being picked up by Tristana, definitely not what you want, but since we do have a couple item changes and things like that, she isn't going to go the BF sword, surprisingly, first off. She is opting instead for the Heartbound Axe, so getting a little bit more damage and attack speed. So opting in for a little bit more utility than just brute force, which I think is arguably a good thing.
Yeah, it's arguably a good thing. Looking around at the map here, I gotta swap the Tristana and the Kennen real quick for myself. So I'm not thinking in my head, what's going on? Grubbins
Collapse?
getting collapsed on?
Yeah, Dino taking a little bit of damage here, trying to focus, and Pandorum is like, you know what? No, enough is enough. We're not going to let you guys take these early leads and continue going like you have been. Does manage to pick up the kill and steal 2 of the Grubbins there. So definitely not a bad look. Great collapse coming in from the side of Corruption. As Madness, I don't think was able to... was not in lane yet. I think they were walking back down as they already burned teleport earlier.
Yeah, TP was burned by Lost Havoc. To get, back in lane now. Grubbins do get split between both sides. 2 go over to BDE. 1 goes over to REV. So that does end up in favor of BDE ever so slightly, as Madness is going to go in here, but might have chewed off 5 more than they could bargain, as Victor's at no mana, so not a whole lot to really worry about, even with the Chaos Storm dropping. Might have to worry about Sejuani, though, who is found and has all of the buttons available.
Ooh, that is true, and Flash is still up for Pandorum. Like you said, they don't have any mana as well, but that is okay. He's just going to stay around the safety of his tier 2 tower, and I cannot say I blame him at all. And that was, I think, a little bit of a desperate Chaos Storm that was used. I mean, didn't really need to do it. I think it was just more for show, like, I could take a chunk of your health too. But not really able to follow up. There was no jungle around. He had no other mana to really chase down or do anything. So, I think it's just like a, hey, get away from my tower and let me clear some minions as well so I can farm.
Yeah, Pando really waiting for that opportunity to get a chance to farm there right now. As game definitely a little slower after those couple of early kills. Lost Havoc getting a little bit of damage on the Kennen, but probably not going to get a whole lot else. It is Kennen, he can just run away. Pando really just needs... Pando, just somebody help this man recall. He's struggling. Dean is around top side. I don't know if you killed Cho'Gath. I think he is maybe a bit too tanky to kill with just, Kennen before having any items and the Sejuani. So yeah, it looks like Sejuani is going to take that reset, not going to go for that gank up there. No major objectives coming up anytime soon. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. We got a minute on the Drake. So that's going to be where both these teams are likely going to be looking, since the Grubbins are a little desynced from that second Drake spawn. So I think, getting some pushing in bot side, getting some power down there, helping Victor get mid lane a little bit further, although it's kind of hard to shove Tristana in, as we do have a gank.
Yes, we do, and Victor does have the flash available. Zill is going to be showing up as well. Nice pillar, but still a little bit too close for the tower, and he doesn't want to risk it. Cho'Gath, meanwhile, into the top side, is hunting down that cannon. Does get him down quite low, but not in Devour range just yet. And we saw the effectiveness last game of Cho'Gath. Even though it was a different player, the champion himself proved to be very, very, very helpful, especially in those team fights. And then later on securing those jungle objectives as well. But, like you said, a relatively slow game. Flash being burned by the cannon had to miss that rupture because he knew if that were to hit, it is GG's on that one. So Flash is down. Teleport is available, though, and it's vice versa for Lost Havoc, so he is able to stay in lane, but getting back to lane is going to be a little bit of a slower process for him. Meanwhile, into the bot side, we do have Sejuani trying to look for something, but Trundle is waiting on the wings. This Infernal Dragon is next up on the map here, as each lane is definitely trying to get the priority. We do have 4 members coming in from Revolution. They do start up the Infernal Drake as well. They already have one onto the map. They're trying to match that with a second one here. Zyra's the only one with enough cojones at the moment to step up, gets a plant out, but I don't think that they're actually going to be able to follow up. No. And I don't blame them. You don't want to force anything right now with the game being as close as it is. And we've seen where these team fights, especially at this point in the game, that if you do, you know, misclick, misstep, miss anything, that is going to go ahead. You give an inch to Eternal, they're going to take a mile from you. You know, definitely that being of Madness and Leper Koopa. So I like how slow that they're playing. Let the Jinx hyperscale, because that's exactly what Jinxes do.
Yes.
And then Trundle can just go ahead and stay, even though I know he's your jungler, he can go ahead and push onto the side lanes as well. He can create that pressure for you, while nobody else can do that. So,
and honestly, one of the good things about Trundle is that he can, you know, exert pressure on a side lane. He's not just trapped in jungler duty for the entire game. He can look to pivot to be a side lane threat, especially because you have the Cho'Gath, who isn't going to be able to do that. So it gives you an extra kind of option as the game continues. Unfortunately, they don't really have an option to contest these Grubbins, aside from just letting them go, as they are all going to be dropped by the Tristana and the rest of the team. So 4 Grubs end up in the pocket of Rev, and they also had the first 2 Drakes. So objectives definitely in their favor this game, at least for the moment, but still a lot of game left to be played, and no real major advantages otherwise have been given over. Both of the attack damage carry threats in the Jinx and the Tristana are on their first item. We do have the Victor with the Malignance completed, so that's pretty decent. Rocket Belt is on the Cannon. That'll be a nice tool to have. This shouldn't amount to anything. Yeah, that'll be a nice tool for the Cannon to have, although Cannon does take a little bit of time to actually start getting damage on the board, as we do have an engage.
Oh, yep, onto the bot lane, and Encore followed up by Madness on the Tristana is able to hop in, and that is a very, very, very dead. But hold on, the knockup landed on all 3, but no, still Madness able to pick up that kill onto Swag there. Tristana now being that assassin carry that we know and love her to be. Hate to lane against, though. Victor is going to just take advantage of the fact that Tristana's not in lane. Going to go ahead and push forth. Nice flash. I don't think it was necessarily needed 100%, but they are looking to go ahead and crash this into tower and do a potential tower dive. We have Trundle waiting in the wings onto the bot side as well. Madness now is going to be the odd one out carried. There goes to the bomb, and that is a lot of damage. There's the ulti back, and oh my god, with a sliver of health, he's able to go ahead and stay alive. Madness is trying to pick up and left off where he started. Flash to get the reset, and dashes on over to safety. What an absolutely insane move. Tristana now 3-0 onto the board. That's a big, big lead. Has already the Kraken Slayer in her arsenal, able to pick up these boots. And yeah, this is where most of the damage, this is where all the kills are currently coming, is onto Madness right now. And like you said, they have a lot of AP, but they need to focus on the armor as well, but that's really not a priority when there's only one person that's AD, you know?
Madness. This is Tristana right here. Exactly as you want to see. She is so dangerous, those 3 kills, you know, as you talked about. The AD carry assassin we all love, you know, relatively speaking. I love Tristana. I think she's super fun to play and watch. Maybe not to play against, but you know, that's not the problem. You know, nobody plays her. Surely, smile. So I think that this is where they want to be, and that was honestly just an insane play. Really understanding the limits of Tristana with the, you know, jump back in, you know, the flash forward, like I can get the reset. I'm not going to get killed by the turret. I have a jump. Just smart to secure that one. And really just gotta commend it. You know, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good to see Tristana pop off. It's one of the most fun champions to watch have those pop-off plays, in my opinion.
Yeah, the flash underneath tower was just good to secure the kill and have the reset go off onto the W here. And Seraphine being caught out by a W. Nice slow, nice root follow-up onto the Zyra. And yeah, that is a very, very, very dead Seraphine. Unfortunately, Swag is the one that picked up the kill there instead of the Jinx. You know, the excited proc, though, is nice to have, and they are maybe going to go ahead and lock down. Oh, hold on. Another W is going to land onto the Sona, just followed up by a couple rockets. So, Sejuani making her way down to the bot side just to make sure that the tier 1 isn't going to fall here. But I mean, they have the capabilities for these team fights to do really, really well on the side of BDE. You know, there is only a 1.5k gold lead right now at 16 minutes. This is the lowest gold lead that they've had on the side of Revolution. Teleport is going to be coming through from Seraphine, and man, that is so smart. They want to lock down these dragons, especially the ocean ones here, as there is going to be an ocean soul.
No, not an ocean soul with this team.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Get ready for that.
please,
Shields and
no.
heals, shields and heals, baby.
All right, who can afford healing reduction? I mean, Zyra will make use of it. Zyra can get it. Do we have shield? Can somebody buy Serpent's Fang? Can we justify Serpent's Fang on Trundle? Is that good? It's.
I'm gonna go no on that one.
I feel like that's the answer to that is a negatory. But.
Okay, yeah,
I guess
Serpent's Fang
maybe
Cho'Gath.
this, yeah, maybe this, thank you voices in our head. Maybe the Cho'Gath does go Serpent's Fang. That I think is the key. That's the key to all of this for sure.
Oh yeah, that's the answer to all their problems.
No, think about it. Cho'Gath with the scaling AD from the Atmas, the new Atmas. All right, scaling HP, scaling AD with the Seraphine's driving. What is Seraphine driving?
Hey, she has that much confidence in her team to back her up. Hold on, teleport now coming out from the side of Corruption, but another one also following up from Revolution, and yeah, that is actually going to be Dino is going to be taking out Leper Koopa though on the cannon ult. He's able to get two-man stealth, but does dive underneath tower, has to get out of there. Zill also trying to do what he can onto the back line. Dino's the only one to fall 1 for 2 currently in favor of Revolution, and a little bit questionable, not exactly the cleanest dive in the world, and that is going to allow Lost Havoc to just go ahead and push out that tower. I think maybe he could have been present, you know, burn his teleport as well to get into the team fight. I think it could have gotten in favor of BDE if Trundle was there, but I'm not going to argue with it. He was able to secure the tier 1 tower, got a little bit of, you know, get back in terms of CS there, and now he's going to make himself known, but look at that vision right now on the side of Revolution. Look how many red wards there are on the bot side of Corruption's blue side jungle. I mean, they know every move that they're going to make down there. So, you know, when you have all this information, that's the reason why these team fights are starting to go in favor of Revolution, because they just know and they can map out everything on the side of BDE.
Yeah, the vision control, the vision out from the, you know, from the support from Booter Scooch and the rest of the team, controlling around that Drake side of the map. You know, they, like you said, they're kind of playing around this soul win condition. And if there's going to be any soul that is going to be a nightmare, I'm living it right now. I'm thinking about it. So it's going to be the Ocean Soul if they can grab it. And if you are the side of BDE, you got to figure out how you stop that from happening. And I think, honestly, that their damage profile is not that bad. They aren't too terribly far behind in terms of being able to kill their opponents. It's just going to be a matter of getting in there to get that fight. And as I kind of talked about in draft, it is hard to get in there and to get that fight started, because you have to get through every piece of CC, every big stupid button that REV have, because they have 4 big stupid buttons on their team: Slicing Maelstrom, Glacial Prison, Encore, Crescendo. It's so tough to approach the fights. And honestly, maybe you kind of just like see if you can't throw somebody in first, you know, just eat all of the ultimates, see if you can get away with it. But I don't know.
Interesting little fight happening onto the bot side here. You know, we had Havoc being engaged here by Madness. Madness, you know, does have a little bit of backup from his team, has the heals in the shield, so maybe if he wants to go for a tower dive, he can. Glacial Prison does land, but absolutely literally no follow-up. I think that's just for flexing capabilities on this side of Revolution here. Meanwhile, on the top, we do have Cannon, who's just going to be able to freely take that tier 1 tower. And never mind, we have a teleport coming through from the Victor. Nice from Zill coming in from the flank. Koopa forced to go ahead and dash out of there with the, what's it called? The Hextech Rocket Belt, but you know, teleport is a little bit slower than I think it should be personally for its effectiveness, but that's all right. You know, they managed to at least bring it back to like a 10-minute marker, so that was cool. But I missed those like level 4-minute teleports. Those were the bomb. Oh man.
Yeah.
Narwhal
Oh
forced
no.
the flash out of that. Dino is just doing a lot of work by himself, but stuck in now the 1v4. And there we go. Vampire is able to go ahead and pick up his first kill, and that's going to be right before the Dragon's Soul. And we've seen this before. They only gave up one, though, so they were able to get the Dragon's Soul last time on Revolution. But they definitely don't want to be giving up that many. And hold on, Nice Peller's going to go ahead and stop the escape from Billy Badass, forced to flash Booter Scooch now. Yes, he has the heals. Yes, he has the shields, but ooh, flashes out of the Super Mega Death Rocket there. And these are some pretty big spells. But meanwhile, Madness is now going to be joining the fight. The Encore is going to go and land on 2 members. Jumps onto the back wall. Billy Badass going to take down Narwhal. Another jump, and yeah, Pandorum is just going to be next, and Madness is going absolutely mad crazy. 4 members down. They had a good start. They just spread out a little bit too thin there, and the cleanup crew that is Madness and Booter Scooch, you know, was able to go ahead and just take out the rest of them, and that will be in fact a Soul Drake at 22 minutes here, and no Drakes at all for the side of Corruption. So with the heals and the shields, in addition to this Dragon Soul, that is going to be kind of an uphill battle now for the side of Corruption.
You know, Rev have got Van Halen playing for them right now. Go ahead and jump, as Tristana is absolutely such a menace here. And the Kennen as well. Kennen had a fantastic ultimate in that fight. Really just showcasing how hard it is for fights to even be fought by the side of BDE, because, you know, Cho'Gath, well, I don't know if they were there or if they just didn't do anything. They've not been participating. I don't know. Is Lost Havoc, like, are they just on top lane island? What? They have to attempt something, you know, at least when the Cho'Gath is in the jungle. We've received, the voice in my head has spoken to me, and has said that the Cho'Gath has a single feast stack. We are 23 minutes in the game, folks. We are saving it for game 4 is what we're doing.
Yeah, very nice. Pillar's going to go ahead and land, though, onto the Kennen. He has to pop the rocket belt as well, but, man, those call-outs are on point. There we go. The rest of the squad has shown up here. Great engage coming in from the Tristana, and the rest of the squad, the Glacial Prison, just falling a foot too short, but don't worry, they have CC on top of CC. The Encore is going to land, and that is going to be a dead victor here. Sejuani is able to go ahead and make it out, fortunately, but that tier 1 tower is going to go ahead and fall. It looks like, oh, the Kennen engage in the Maelstrom. That is just all that they needed right there. The AoE is just absolutely ridiculous, as that is going to be a double kill picked up by the Kennen. It looks like, yes, they are going to go straight for the Baron after that, as they should. And, I mean, this is just looking like maybe a 3-0 at the pace that they're going. Once again, you just give them an inch, they will take a mile. That seems to be the slogan for Revolution in the series.
Yeah, Cho'Gath ended that fight at full HP. It's honestly, I'm trying to think of how to spin it here. I truly, you know, I'm an English teacher. Right now I actually am going through summer school, you know, trying to help the kids who have failed the regular semester get the credit that they missed. And Cho'Gath finally deciding to participate.
Yes, indeed. Gonna go ahead and bait them into actually a 3v4 action. I like what he was doing. Uh-oh, somebody call an ambulance. Oh, definitely for me. Dino, falling a little bit too close for comfort here. Yep, the feast is definitely going to be needed as he munches, but those heals and those shields and the Encore landing on 3 members, that was big coming in from the Seraphine. The Jinx finally showing up, but the damages are not able to cut through the shielding and the healing. Kennen teleporting onto the back line here. Oh my god, what a setup, what a cleanup, and that is going to be a Quadra. Are we going to be able to get the pentakill? Pandorum is trying to do what he can, dodging and bobbing and weaving, flashing over the tower. Booterscooch saying, get over here, I have the speed ups, I have the damage. No, never mind, they're just going to abandon him. Pandorum almost takes down Booter, but still not even able to do that alone. The Quadra is going to be the only thing picked up, only, like that's a bad thing, by Leper here, as I thought we were going to go ahead and see the Penta, but this Baron is just going to go ahead and now spread the pressure across the map as the tier 3 Nexus, tower does fall into the top side. Inhib is going to be next here from the Tristana, not needing to be anywhere near these fights at all.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You could not have you could not have scripted a Kennen ultimate, but that literally looked like out of like a YouTube video, you know.
Absolutely.
That's like, you know, the challenger top laner gets a bunch of their bronze viewers into a custom lobby and then destroys them with the greatest Kennen flank you've seen in your entire life. You know, that doesn't even happen in YouTube videos that are scripted. Yeah. I mean, what do you say? I do think that they found something there, the side of BDE. They were getting quite a lot of damage, but unfortunately, they just couldn't finish the job. None of the Jinx rockets were able to be lethal hits, and without getting excited, that just allowed the shield jerking to continue, and without the ability to kill someone, they ended up just extending way too far, and a good ward and a good TP sealed their fate, and it might have sealed their fate in this game.
It might have. I mean, they are looking to go ahead and end this. They want this 3-0 victory, so they have the Baron. No, I'm sorry, the Baron just ran out, so they don't have it anymore, but their sieging capabilities with 2 inhibs down. The Glacial Prison does go wide, but it doesn't matter. The Encore also only hits one person. Leper Koopa stepping up a little bit too close, but man, oh man, all that damage. Leper Koopa is able to go ahead and take down Swag, and we do have Billy Badass that takes out Lost Havoc. Yeah, that Feast is not able to go through. Pandorum trying to follow up, but I don't think that they have enough once again to cut through the heals and the shields that is that Seraphine and the Sona, as 4 members are down. Vampiric is trying to heal up in the base, but that is just way too much damage, way too quick. 3-0 final victory goes on over to Revolution Eternal as they close out this entire series 3-0. Wow, what just a tremendous performance by Revolution in this series here. Absolutely commanding from start to finish. They showed up, they talked the talk, they walked the walk. Last time they met, it was a 2-0, and they said, you know what, we're going to continue that streak. We're going to do a 3-0 here in the finals in front of you, in front of your family, in front of the whole entire world here, and they did exactly that. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. 5-0-6, 1-0-18, 2 unkillable people once again on the side of Revolution. I mean, couldn't ask for a better League of Legends gameplay coming from a team here tonight. Definitely not.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess it's sweeps week. This is our third sweep of the week. You know, Plat finals was a 3-0, draft was a 2-0, and we have another 3-0 here, and a very commanding 3-0 as well. The second game could have been a little bit, you know, it might have looked a little sketchy in the middle, but at the end of the day, it all goes in favor of the side of Rev. And you know, for those of you who wanted to know, Cho'Gath did not get another feast stack by the end of the game.
No.
We were at 1 the entire game. 28 minutes, 1 feast stack. But let's not worry about that. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the winning performance, and let's get a conversation with one of our winners. We'll have to figure out who we get for an interview here, but I think if you're all right with it, we'll go to a break and we'll get one of our winning players here and, you know, have a conversation with them about the series and the season. So stick around. We'll have a player ready for you after our break.
push it away. And I'm chasing whispers before they all just fade. So how can I leave it all behind when I refuse to watch it fall to dust? I will find a this porcelain mirage may start to break. Each piece a reminder, every single little mistake. So how can I leave it all behind when I refuse to watch it fall to dust? Tell me why it won't ever be the same. I'll burn it all, no matter who's to blame. I'll find a
Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people, and the people have spoken. We have got the one, the only. We have Dean O in the chat with you all, and we are going to let Dean yap. Dean, how
Alright.
are you doing tonight, my friend?
Honestly, Conduit was the hardest team that we had to play in playoffs. Hoodie was the only other jungler in the league that was at my level, and I'm glad that I got to prove that, because literally every other team just was playing a 4v5 the entire time. And I don't know what was going on with corruption. I don't know what the hell they were deciding, but they are not a team. That was not a... I played against a solo queue squad there. I did not play against a team that was anywhere near our level.
What?
Well, we are letting
we
Dean
just-
yap.
we just
That's
jump-
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's how do you start a conversation like that? It's
It's because you know what? You know what? This entire split, I've had people doubting me in chat. I've been doubting myself. I've had everyone being saying like, "Ayo, Dean can't hang. Dean's not the guy." Like, and just it's been building up and building up and building up. And playoffs, I proved I am the best jungler in this entire league. It does not matter. It is not close. Give me this trophy. We all earned it. I got carried a little bit game 3, not gonna lie. But
Look, we take those. Sometimes you're the person lifting your team, and sometimes your team is lifting you. That's what teamwork's all about. Is that everybody, a good team has everybody on the same page and being able to lift each other up when you're struggling, right? That's what makes a good team. And speaking of going through the season, your team had a relatively good record, all things considered. You already mentioned that you felt Conduit was your toughest performance or your toughest game. Any other games that you felt, any other matchups that you felt were particularly, challenging? When have you felt challenged this season?
I think the moment that we woke up and really came together as a team was after our loss to Typhoon in the regular season. Typhoon beat us 2-1, and that was the moment where I think we all kind of realized, okay, we need to get on the same page of how we were going to play. Because before that, we were just kind of going off of hand stiffing everyone, and that was the moment where we really solidified what our play style was, what we wanted to do. And then going into playoffs, we just ironed out the last of our problems, which was not really being prepped for matches. And then we came up with actual draft plans, if they do this based on what their habits are, what are their patterns they've shown from their drafts, we're going to respond with this. And we came up with all these different plans. We came up with the Sarasota bot lane. We came up with the role swap, having Madness go mid, having Leper go top, the Tristana angle. We had we completely had faith in each other to have every single person on that team be able to carry. Last week, I had my carry games on the Jackson, on the Talia, and week before that, it was just completely the Billy and Booter show with Leper having his big moments. And tonight, it was the Madness. Madness is the reason that we won as much of this series as we did. So it's just Typhoon woke us up to become this team.
Okay, so kind of like hitting your avatar state there, and I mean, there is some great synergy coming around just your team in general. You guys with the collapses and the callouts are absolutely amazing. Like you said, the trust that you see in one another, and I want to kind of go into your brain a little bit about the Sejuani pick. Do you kind of go the play style of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, or was that a form of flexing? Like I'll stick with one jungler the entire time, and I'll just go ahead and dominate like I do every other time that we play. So what was specific about the Sejuani pick that you just wanted to lock down for this entire series here?
The Sejuani was twofold. One was that we kind of decided that we needed to have this absolute. We needed to establish our floor so that everyone else could hit their ceilings, and Sejuani was like the most stable pick there to give everyone else something to play off of. And then just like there was no way that they could ever kill it. There was legitimately no way that they were ever going to be able to deal with it in game 1 when we were just hands dipping them from minute 1. We ended that game like sub 22 minutes. They never had a chance. Game 2 was, okay, I'm going to pick this and then accelerate Madness to be able to have his God mode moment. And it had the synergy built in there with the Renekton. And then game 3 was like, okay, even no matter how much I int, I have a Sarasota behind me. So they'll have to spend so much time trying to kill me that they won't have cooldowns and they won't have health bars to survive anything else. And you saw it on that last fight where I inted, I ran in a little bit, started walking back out. They were all like a quarter HP just from hitting me and getting hit by stray skill shots. And then Leper came in with a giant TP flank.
Oh my, I know.
Yeah,
No, that was
literally
canon.
scripted.
Yeah,
literally
scripted.
scripted. Couldn't have done it better in a YouTube sludge content. It is truly incredible. So with that said, now I think I was reading in chat, this is one of the first chips that Rev has an org has been able to pick up. So what's the future? What's the future plan for, this team? What the org might be looking at, any plans right now?
Nothing is set in stone. Like, I know that we all want to play together again, but Billy has ranked out. Billy's going to be playing in Plat. Madness wants to try to play in Plat as an ADC because that is his original role, and he's, as you saw in Game 3, a more cracked ADC than even as a top laner.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what Leper's going to do, not sure what Bitter's going to do, not really sure what I'm going to do yet. But I think that no matter what path we all decide to go, like, no one can take this away from us. Like, this moment is ours, and this is the first championship that's gone to Rev, and this is my first, Madness's first, Billy's first competitive split, and his first championship, which is insane to think about. Same with Booter. No matter what, and no matter where we decide to go, I'm just so incredibly proud of what we've been able to accomplish under Rev and for each other.
Yeah, and hey, it's the story's not over for Billy Badass, because
True.
Billy Badass is one of our draft players. Gotta plug draft every stream.
Oh yeah, the last overall
for.
picked in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant coming in. So I think y'all got to keep an eye on him for that one.
I think I gave him a 2 out of 10. So I'm looking forward to seeing the support Billy Badass perform in the draft league. So I'm excited. If you're out there, want to support the winners here tonight, keep an eye on the draft. Any closing thoughts? Anything that you haven't already said?
The last thing that I want to say is y'all watched the hype video at the start of this stream.
Sure.
I wasn't cocky enough to say that corruption couldn't beat us. I'm damn proud of how confident we all were going into this. This was the easiest series of my life.
Those are some good closing remarks. I mean, you called it. You're like, I'm not confident to say that they can't beat us, but I'm confident to say that they won't beat us. So, and 2-0 the first time that you guys met up, 3-0 the second time around here. So I think it's very, very safe to assume that you guys definitely have it in the bag if you guys do match up and meet up again in the future here, which I would love to see in future Blue Water Leagues as well. You know, maybe instead of just 2 of the members going up to Plat, I could see the potential of all of you making it up to Plat to
Yeah, just
still be
climb.
playing together
Oh, yeah.
as, you know, the BDE, or I'm sorry, as the Reverend Eternal there, or Revolution Eternal. So, you know,
The
I like
Reverend.
the
I
Reverend.
like
I'm,
the Reverend's kind of badass. I like
yeah,
that.
thank you. You know, I'm just saying, you guys kept on putting him in a casket. You might as well be a reverend at this point, because you guys were just absolutely so dominating in the gold league, and I could see that transitioning, moving up as well to the plat league, just based off of what we see here in the blue water league, you know, earlier in the week. But you know, wherever you guys do end up going, like you said, no one can take this moment away from you at all. Congratulations on all the success that you guys had for this split. You guys definitely earned it, definitely deserved it. You were what,
you.
the rank 3, I think, coming into the
seed, yeah.
playoffs, and I
Third
mean,
seed.
you guys. Oh yeah, 3rd seed. You showed why you belonged inside the finals, and then why you were going to dominate the finals once again. It gives me chills, that opening video. I loved it so much. We saw it twice, actually. I saw it once before the live cast, and then when the live cast started, it was like, oh man, I cannot wait to see this. You guys are
Oh,
getting me
yeah.
all hyped up, and you guys did not disappoint. So, you know, from a caster standpoint, it was phenomenal. I love the action. I love the synergy just coming from you guys as REV. It makes me sad to know that we are a little bit unknown about the future. I would have loved to hear, definitely. We have more things planned, you know, but I hope you guys either make that jump up to plat, or they might stick in gold for just a little bit longer, just to have one more go around.
Just elo sig.
yeah.
Just
Yeah,
elo
just
sig. Cheat.
We're just
Just
gonna elo
cheat.
sig, get one more
Just
chip, and then
do.
we'll go into plat. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody does it.
Yeah.
It's all right. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's true. Awesome. Well,
No,
thank you guys for having me. Come on. Thank you for hashtag letting Dean yap. Appreciate it.
Of course, the people asked for it, and who are we to say no to them, you know? So thank you for doing so. Congratulations once again. Definitely hard fought, well deserved, and all the success in the world moving forward here, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
No worries. Well, Becky, what a very exciting games, a couple of games here tonight. I mean, the first one definitely a commanding victory. The second one had a little bit of a shaky start for Revolution there, but they decided to go one more all the way to the 3rd round. As you saw, Sejuani pulled out all 3 times by the man himself, Dean. And, you know, and they showed up, they showed out, and they took home the gold literally here in the BOL Gold Finals. So, you know, with that being said, you know, I want to thank all the players that showed up here tonight on both sides. BDE Corruption making it all the way to the finals, definitely not anything to scoff at. Number 2 out of all of them when you were the 4th seed coming into the playoffs. So definitely really good. And I want to give a huge shout out to, of course, yourself, Becky, amazing co-caster as always. You bring the energy, you bring the knowledge, you bring the hype as well. I love that. I love, and you keep it real. You call out people when they need to be called out, and it's very refreshing. And then of course Ulz, the man behind the production, and the rest of BOL, who allows us to do this here. And of course all you wonderful people at home tuning in to us to watch us talk about these games here tonight. We would not even be here without your guys' support. So thank you to each and every single one of you out there. But with that being said, we are going to have to close the curtain on this series here. 3-0 once again to the Revolution Eternals over the BDE Corruption. And I am your boy, Rylion, along here with Becky, Rita. And that is going to wrap up the BOL Gold Finals. I hope you all have a very wonderful rest of your evening and have a great night.